Imagine a world without funerals. No ticking clocks counting down your days. No fear of the unknown. Sounds like heaven, right? You wake up, look in the mirror, and trace that familiar birthmark on your cheek. You notice a new wrinkle near your eye. A sign of getting older. A sign of being human. But what you don't know yet is that today is the last day that wrinkle will ever matter. Today is the day the human race officially stops leaving this world. It doesn't happen with a massive explosion or a divine announcement. It happens quietly. At first, it's just strange whispers and isolated incidents. A man falls from a 10-story building, stands up, dusts off his suit, and walks away confused. A massive car pileup happens on the highway. Vehicles crushed into unrecognizable metal cubes, yet every single passenger crawls out from the wreckage without a single broken bone. By noon, the world completely shifts. Breaking news flashes across every screen on the planet. Emergency rooms empty out. Life support machines are turned off, yet the patients open their eyes and sit up. Severe, terminal illnesses just vanish from bloodstreams. At first, the planet erupts in a massive, global celebration. Strangers hug each other in the streets. The ultimate human dream has been achieved. You hold your family tight, crying tears of absolute joy, realizing you will never, ever have to say goodbye to them. You think you've just been handed the keys to paradise? But you are completely blind to the mathematical nightmare that is quietly ticking in the background. The first 100 years are absolutely incredible. I mean, why rush anything when you have eternity in the palm of your hand? You go back to school, you get 5 different degrees, you master 7 languages just because you can. You learn to play every instrument you ever wanted to. The fear of failure, the fear of wasting your youth, it doesn't exist anymore. Extreme sports become your basic morning routine. You jump out of airplanes without parachutes just to feel the impact. You climb Mount Everest in a t-shirt because you know the absolute worst that could happen is just a temporary freeze. Your body always recovers. You are invincible. But right around year 50, the economic reality of a deathless society starts to rear its ugly head. The funeral industry collapses overnight, leaving millions jobless. Life insurance companies go bankrupt in a week. But that's just the beginning. Think about retirement. How can you ever retire when you have an endless eternity to fund? You go to a coffee shop to buy your morning latte? The barista handing you your cup has 3 PhDs and is 140 years old? Why is he working there? Because nobody leaves their jobs anymore. Politicians, billionaires, and CEOs refuse to step down. Power completely stagnates. You are stuck competing for entry-level jobs with people who have a century of experience. Worse, you are competing with your own great-great-great-grandfather for a promotion. The wealth gap doesn't just widen, it becomes an impenetrable concrete wall. By year 80, you watch your distant descendants grow up, yet you all look like you are in your mid-20s. It is a bizarre golden age of humanity. But then, the real cracks in this utopia begin to show. You see, while the exit door of life was permanently locked, the entrance door was left wide open. The global birth rate never stopped. Over 380,000 new babies are being born every single day. In a normal world, the population balances itself out. But in this new reality, the counter only goes up. 1 billion people, then 5 billion, then 10 billion, and it's accelerating. By year 150, the Earth's population shatters the 30 billion mark, then 50 billion. The panic sets in. Governments try to pass strict global laws banning childbirth, but human nature rebels, and it's too late anyway. The damage is done. The world completely runs out of horizontal space. Beautiful suburban neighborhoods, open public parks, and wide highways are brutally bulldozed to the ground. Mother Nature becomes the first true casualty of human immortality. The last forests are burned down to make room for residential megastructures. Animals go extinct because humans desperately need their habitats just to stand. Cities can no longer grow outwards, so they violently grow upwards and downwards. Massive, terrifying megastructures are built, hundreds of floors of cold steel and concrete, stacked so impossibly high they literally block out the sun. You haven't seen a blue sky in decades. A thick, gray smog settles permanently over what used to be the Earth's surface. Resources become the new gold. Traditional farming takes up way too much precious land, so real food becomes a myth told to children. You survive on a tasteless, gray synthetic protein paste printed in underground chemical labs. You haven't seen a real cow, a wild bird, or a green tree in over a century. The concept of a home vanishes entirely. Your spacious apartment is divided to house 10 people, then divided again. Now, your living space is a tiny metallic pod, the exact size of a closet, just a bed, a glowing screen, and a ventilation tube. There is nowhere left to walk, nowhere left to run. You are trapped in a cage made of people. Year 250 arrives, and society mutates into something horrifying to maintain order. The justice system breaks down. Think about it. What does a life sentence mean when life never ends? Prisons become the most terrifying places in the universe. They are no longer buildings. They are deep, underground silos. If you commit a serious crime, you are dropped into a dark, soundproof metal box, buried miles beneath the Earth's crust and left there forever, conscious, awake, and unable to die. The sheer terror of eternal solitary confinement keeps the crime rate low. But it breeds a new kind of quiet, collective madness. Year 300, the global population hits an impossible 150 billion. Space isn't even the biggest problem anymore. It's the relentless, unforgiving physics of heat. Imagine the raw body heat generated by 150 billion humans operating at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Now add the heat of the massive, struggling machines running 24/7 just to pump recycled air, synthesize water, and keep the megastructures from collapsing. The planet's atmosphere begins to literally boil. The oceans, once vast and beautiful, are aggressively drained to cool down the server farms and the megacities. The water level drops drastically, leaving behind toxic, salty wastelands. The air conditioning in your tiny pod barely works anymore. It just blows thick, warm, metallic-tasting air directly into your face. You are constantly sweating. Everyone is constantly sweating. The smell of billions of confined humans is overwhelming, a dense odor of panic and synthetic chemicals that never washes out. You look outside your small, heavily reinforced, scratched window. There are no streets down there. No cars, just an endless, suffocating ocean of humanity. It is a permanent, global traffic jam of human bodies. People are packed, shoulder to shoulder, in the massive corridors, unable to move an inch in any direction. You can hear the collective sound of billions of people. It's a low, terrifying hum that never stops. They are crying, screaming, begging for it to just end. They are desperately begging for a way out. But the absolute darkest tragedy of this eternal life is that the suffering never stops. Your physical body survives the crushing weight, the starvation, and the heat, but your mind shatters into a million unrecognizable pieces. The noise never stops. The heat never stops. The claustrophobia never stops. Existence becomes a heavy, suffocating blanket that you can never throw off. You step back from the window and stare into that cracked, dirty mirror in your pod. You look exactly the same as you did the morning it all started 300 years ago. Your skin is flawless. You have no diseases. The birthmark is still perfectly placed on your cheek, but your eyes? Your eyes are completely hollow. The spark of humanity is totally gone, replaced by a dull, endless exhaustion. You finally realize the terrifying, ultimate truth. Having an expiration date wasn't a curse. It wasn't the enemy of life. It was the frame that gave the painting its beauty. It was the absolute deadline that made every single moment, every cup of coffee, every sunset, and every hug incredibly valuable. Without an ending, the story doesn't become a fairy tale, it becomes a prison. Immortality isn't a gift from the gods, it is the ultimate punishment. So, I have to ask you, if you had the choice right now, today, standing in your normal, mortal life, would you drink the elixir of immortality, knowing it eventually leads to a suffocating, endless trap? Or would you gladly accept a normal, fragile human timeline with all its flaws, pains, and inevitable endings? Let me know your choice in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you survived this far into the video, hit that subscribe button for more what-if survival guides and dark realities. I'll see you in the next reality.